Hello world, welcome to Inflicting Opinions, where we look at video game-y things and I share my dumb rambling thoughts. A bunch of quick bits today. Fallout 76, the tire fire that never ends, in the news again for being full of sadness and failure. I mean, what did you expect it was going to be in the news for? Nothing good, really. Although they are adding the NPCs, or they have, I don't know when that's going on, but that's at least a good thing. But they don't really seem to have a handle on these updates to not be full of stupid bugs, so I guess they don't have a public test server. Probably not doing them any favors. Maybe Bethesda should look into that whole public test server thing, rewarding people for finding these shitty bugs before they inflict them onto the other 10 people that play the game still. RetroArch coming to Steam on July 30th. That's pretty cool. It's an emulator program. I think it's mostly an all-in-one. At least up until the PlayStation 2 era, I'm pretty sure they have all those. I'm not sure if they have anything. Well, I don't really think emulators past that era are any good anyway. But that's nice to me. I'll probably be downloading it just to try out the PlayStation 2 emulator. Because there was one of my old games I ripped and tried to play on whatever emulator I have now. It runs. It's just kind of a janky pile of shit when it does. And, I mean, I guess I could waste my money buying an HDMI adapter for my PlayStation 2, but I honestly don't even know if it works anymore. And I'd rather just use an emulator. A couple new shows are going to be coming out. Warhammer 40k, not necessarily video game specific, but it's going to be a live action series. I don't think they've picked a cast or anything. I know they have a showrunner, and I don't think they have where they want to have it put up at yet. So, but that'll be cool. I don't know anything about Warhammer lore, so don't even ask. But I do like the art style. I think it's quite interesting. The games are usually fun, unless they're terrible, but actually kind of prefer Warhammer Fantasy, but Warhammer 40k is also cool. And then Cuphead. Cuphead is coming to Netflix, animated series, of course. I do like the art style of Cuphead, but I've never played it because I'm really awful at platformers, so I just not really interested in playing one, especially one that's supposed to be hard, because I know I would just probably not have fun with that. So that's something interesting to look forward to. And if it's like the Castlevania series is pretty good. That's also on Netflix. Now, I know it's not particularly video game rated, but the OneWeb broadband test looks pretty good and promising. They apparently have an average of 32 milliseconds of latency and 400 megabits per second. I think that was download speed. But to me, that's fantastic. I mean, 32 milliseconds of latency for something that's in low Earth orbit, that's the latency I get for servers that are near me. It's certainly not what I get when I connect to the other coast, which is usually around 100 milliseconds of latency, although that is a greater distance than up into low Earth orbit. But still, that's amazing to me, and I can't wait to see all of these new services load up just so we can have these options. It'd be so nice to have options. Let's see. Oh, Sugar Daddy Epic throwing around those delicious Fortnite dollars, although they're giving it to Blender Foundation, which is awesome because Blender is the program I use for my video editing. It's mostly a 3D modeling software, open source, so I personally think that's fantastic. And if you ever wanted to try Blender, it's actually available on Steam, or you could get it from their the Blender Foundation site. So that's fantastic. I still think Epic is a shitty company, but at least they're giving away those delicious Fortnite dollars to someone deserving. Gears of War 5 is going to remove smoking, which is fine with me, and Gears games in the future will no longer have smoking either. Actually, you know what? I think that should be applauded. Good job to the Coalition for removing tobacco products from their games, or at least from this series. That is fantastic. If you ever thought the video game industry, with its unregulated gambling and manipulative bullshit, was awful, they don't even hold a candle to the tobacco industry, which, as far as I can tell, is run by soulless fucking ghouls. And that is probably being excessively nice. And I think it's funny how you have people that sit here and say, censorship, but they probably have never even so much as batted an eye at how glorified smoking is in the entertainment industry in general. So if every single video game company decides to dump all tobacco products from their games from now and forever, I would be totally on board with that. You know what? That may be censorship, but I really don't care because the tobacco industry is just that ghastly and horrific and doesn't deserve anyone's support in any capacity whatsoever. oh, G2A, STD of the gaming industry still exists for some terrible reason. And yes, that's right, STD of the gaming industry, you think it's been cured and there's just been this other nasty flare-up, which is what we're seeing now. It does not help that streamers and uploaders still support and take deals with this garbage company. If you're unaware, G2A is a key reseller. The problem is there's also a lot of credit card fraud associated with this company. What happens is someone steals a credit card, they buy a bunch of game keys or Steam gift codes, and they sell this shit on G2A. And then, of course, obviously, the cards eventually get flagged as stolen, and then developers are the ones left holding the bag. And they are the ones that are saddled up with all the chargeback fees and paying for the keys. Which, technically, developers can reject those keys, but for an indie developer, that could be damage to their reputation that could cause them future sales. It really could hurt their reputation if they reject those keys. And they have to pay for the chargebacks either way. They're screwed with paying money no matter what they do. So that's great for developers, which of course is why we once again see indie developers saying, pirate our shit instead of using G2A, which I think you should just wait for a Steam sale or Good Old Games or go to their website and see if they're selling the Steam keys. Don't use G2A. It's a garbage company. But during the recent flare-up, G2A offered to repay developers 10 times the chargeback costs, and someone is trying to take them up on this offer, the Factorial developers. And they have well over $6,000 in chargeback fees. That's a lot of money for an indie studio. I know that they're the AAA industry. It's like thousands of dollars worth of chargeback is probably nothing to them. And before you think about saying, I'm just going to buy my AAA game keys through G2A, EA probably does not give a damn about rejecting your key. It does not hurt them at all. So all you would really be doing is supporting a piece of shit company like G2A. So don't do it. It's stupid. And the AAA industry doesn't care about the damage to the reputation by rejecting your key anyway. So I fully expect G2A to figure out a way to weasel out of this offer that they've given everyone. And they'll probably say something about, oh, well, you know, the Factorio developers didn't even provide proper or adequate proof that these keys were in fact illegally obtained. Like, why the hell did developers have to provide this proof? Shouldn't G2A be policing their own store? I mean, obviously they're not, because they're a garbage company, which is why they are the STD of the game industry. I expect nothing is going to come from this. I don't even know if they've even contacted the Factorio developers at all at this point. And I expect in a few years G2A will not only exist, but we'll see another flare-up because it's just never going to go away for some reason. Maybe they'll find a cure for this particular STD and it'll stop existing, and you know, the industry will be a better place, at least from the indie side of it, because they're the ones that really get screwed with the whole situation.